Record, record. All right, so I am so excited for tonight. We have one of my absolute favorite people in Cincy on tonight. I've known Denise, I don't even, gosh, if I had to guess, let's see, you've been in since I have it pulled up, 2011. So that means that I've known you for, I mean, yeah, probably
Almost 15 years.
almost. That is unbelievable. That's crazy. I do want to give some cool stats on Denise. She has sold almost 400,000 in Cincy, which is crazy. I mean, you've almost sold 500,000 in Cincy, which is truly unbelievable. Denise has earned numerous trips with Cincy. She's earned annual mentor before. She's earned angel sales. She is someone that um, even through all the ups and downs, she stays glued and connected with Cincy. She's had a lot of health problems herself. I don't know if she wants to share any of that, but she's dealt with multiple cancers, multiple surgeries for her husband. She's still dealing with his health issues too. And through all of that, she has such a great attitude. And when I think of like the true Cincy spirit, it is totally Denise. Denise has even spoke at Reunion. She got to speak at SFR in 2018,
It-
17? No.
s- Wait a second. 2015. I had to look at the.
Okay. Her and Thomas spoke, and she's got an incredibly powerful story. And again, if she wants to share any of that tonight or whatnot, I don't know what she wants. I don't know what I know she's going to share about having the conversations, but some of that also can tie back to her story and whatnot. So, Denise, I'm going to let you have the floor. So you
Okay.
share whatever's on your heart, and we're so excited you're on tonight.
Thank you. I'm just so excited to see some of you. A lot of you all don't know. So I feel kind of guilty, disengaged. And I have been disengaged for the last probably 6 to 9 months. And I've had some stuff going on in my life with my husband and lots of stuff. But you know, what a blessing I have that I have Sensi and I have a job and I can sit at the hospital and work and doctor's offices and, which are all part of selling and recruiting too, because you got to have people to sell and recruit to, which is what I'm going to talk about. But since some of you kind of don't know me, I'll just tell a brief version. In August, I will have signed up for 15 years. I work for the state, steady, good state job with retirement all of my life. In 2009, our only son, was murdered, and we lost him violently here in Austin. And my husband and I basically were truly in mental and physical shock for quite some time. It was right after that when I came down with cancer. I had four different cancers and six surgeries in about a 2 year period. Right after I lost my son, basically the grief was killing me. I decided that I would retire from my state job, which I did. Physically, I had to. Thank God I had the years to retire. So after I retired, and it was only 2 years after I'd lost my son, I still was like, what am I going to do with my life? Like, I was only 53 years old. Like, what the heck am I going to do with my life? I don't know. And so, and in a very ugly, bad place, talking to people about Sensi probably wasn't one of on my agenda, basically. But I was invited many places. People would try to, make you feel happy by taking you places, doing things. Fast forward up, my next door neighbor had a Scentsy party. Yes, imagine that, a party, just like we used to do parties. And I went there and I bought a zebra warmer, which I still have, and the scent Just Breathe. And I did it really out of pressure. So I can tell you that the person who was selling was pressure, was definitely opposite of what I knew I would do. The reason I bought the zebra is because when you lose a child, you're called a zebra because that's just the nickname in grief group. What they call you is a zebra. Because if you think about zebras, they're always alone. They're never together with any other animals. and they're very independent and they don't want socialization or anything. So when you're grieving, you're a parent, that's how you feel. So you're called a zebra. You don't want to talk to nobody, and nobody wants to talk to you because they don't know what to say. So that's the meaning of the warmer. I still have it. And I got the scent Just Breathe because honestly, at that point in my life, all I wanted to do was just breathe because I couldn't go a day without crying and heaving. And, so I was like, well, when I got my warmer and I got my scent, I had candles all over my house. Put this down, and I mean, the scent just made me feel so good. So automatically, I had like a witness, like, oh my gosh, it really made me feel good. So, I thought about it and I thought this is really interesting. I love candles and I love to scent my house. Maybe this is something I should try. Now, nobody asked me, nobody, said anything to me. I had to call the girl who was the consultant and say, "Hey, I think I want to sign up." And this is kind of interesting because she was like, "Oh, you sure you can handle this?" I mean, she had already prejudged me. Word to the wise, don't prejudge anybody. Because she was like, "Can you handle this?" Because I seemed depressed and cried all the time, and she didn't think I could handle this, and she didn't know how I'd understand, put it all together. So she wasn't real positive with me. And I said, "Yeah, I think I can do this. I'll try it, whatever." So she sure doesn't say that now, but she's still my sponsor. But it's just interesting because if I had really listened to her, I probably wouldn't have. Maybe later on, I would have been offered the opportunity. But don't judge, y'all. Don't judge anybody you're talking to, anybody you're trying to talk to, anybody's situation. It's the worst thing you do. You get burned every time. Um, I got into the business. It was new to me. It literally saved my life. I probably wouldn't have made it physically if I didn't have Scentsy, where I met friends, where I started this business. I all of a sudden then was replacing my income. You know, um, it made me talk to people. I would say I'm a friendly person, but at this point in my life, I wasn't. Don't talk to me. I was pretty, afraid to even be around people. So, since he gave me a way to, you know, be out there and be happy. And so it was a double-edged sword with me. And but I loved it. And I started out really well. So of course, when you start, oh, I want to tell you about what I'm doing. Oh, I want to tell you what I'm doing. Well, 15 years later, I can't run around and say, oh, I want to tell you what I'm doing. I mean, new people, which I'm going to talk about, and it is different. Of course, people that know me ask me now, and this is interesting because this is how I keep long range customers. I have people ask me, Denise, how much longer are you going to do that? And I said, why would I quit? It's the best product. It's the best job. I foresee myself in a nursing home with a little Scentsy table at my door and me telling people, having catalogs and people coming in there buying and having a booming business. I mean, I really feel that. And so when my loyal customers now ask me that, it's like, man, she is so committed to this. Yeah, and they're committed because I'm committed to it. I think that's real important. If you tell your customers, no, no. I mean, Jacqueline knows candles, since he coming out with candles, not my thing. Have I sold a candle? Not one. Have I offered a candle? Not one. Because I'm so against it. Because to me, my Scentsy business was built on an alternative to candles. And that's all I talked about. Throw your candles away. So I don't approve of us selling candles, okay? But I don't walk around telling my customers are engaging like that, oh, I'm so mad that Simpsy's, selling candles. Heck no. A lot of my loyal customers that don't even order out of the catalogs, they don't even know we're selling candles. Some may say, oh, you're cheating them. Well, that's just a decision I've made. If they look on the website and see them are in the catalog, that's fine. But I'm not pushing that. I'm not talking about that because it's just something I'm not on page with. But I don't let people know that. That doesn't shine through. I want people, when I started this business and I was thinking about this talk tonight, I want people to look at me and say I ooze Scentsy. And I know that sounds weird, but I want that. And if you put Scentsy in your life, like I've heard people talking and saying, well, how do I carry on this conversation? If Scentsy is your life and you're living it and you love it and you trust it, then making a conversation happen is not going to be an issue because that's going to be what you're all about. I mean, that's just who you are, what you are, why I wear purple. I wear purple almost every day. 15 years later, I wear purple almost every single day. They call me the purple lady at Pilates. And, but they know why. Oh, because she's so Scentsy. Okay, I want people to see me and it just ooze with happiness. I don't want people to look at me and say, "Oh, there's that lady who her son got murdered. Oh, we feel so sorry for her." I don't want that. I turned that around 3 years, 2 years after my son was killed. I don't want that. I want people to know that I am happy and that I've made it through and that this is the company that I stand behind no matter what. And I want them to see that in there, in me, and hear that in my voice. And when I talk about a job, I talk about how I love my job. People want what you want. People always want you want, whether you have money, happiness, possessions, a good job, people but want what you have. They don't know what you have unless you share it. You got to share it and talk about it. I um I love talking to strangers. And I'm gonna, and this is my best. And I did this when I first started because I didn't know any better. And I still do this every 2 to 3 weeks. My favorite is at the post office. Now, I'm lucky enough that I have a post office, two small post offices within like 10 miles of each other. So I alternate where I go. And this is for those of you that don't know how to bring up a conversation. So I always spray which Jacqueline taught me, the envelopes, right? So if I'm mailing catalogs, if I'm mailing a box, it doesn't matter. It's getting sprayed. So I walk in the post office, y'all. I don't walk up and say, "Hi, I'm Denise. Do you know about Scentsy?" No. I'll get them in there and someone will say, "Oh, it smells so good in here." And I'll say, "Oh yeah, it's my catalogs I'm mailing." Really? What is that? And I talk super loud in the post office because I intentionally want everybody to hear me. Everybody's mad being in line at the post office. Everybody's grouchy. It's expensive, blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to be happy and smiling and tell them what smells so good in my catalog. And I walk out of there handing catalogs and samples, don't forget your samples, to everybody that's in line. Would you like one? Would you like one? Would you like one? Now, at one of the post offices, two of the clerks are customers. So that's super easy because I walk in with their bags. I'm standing there and I'm making a big deal out of it or I'm making a lot of noise with the bags, whatever, intentionally to get like, I don't know any of these people. I just want them to ask me what I'm doing so then I can talk. And so then they'll say, "Oh, what you got? Do you need a box for your?" "Oh, no, no, no. I'm delivering these to the girls." And then we make a big deal. They'll go through and smell their bars, make everybody wait in line, and they'll be smelling, "Oh, thank you, Denise," whatever, whatever. My my post offices are my go-to. When I need some orders, I go to the post office. I know that sounds so stupid, but I have something to do. I'm mailing something. I'm just not standing in line faking it. Okay. There's just no way. Um, when you talk to people, you have to listen. And I wouldn't say that I'm the world's best listener, but you have to listen because they're going to tell you something back that you're going to be able to then take and run with. For example, um, somebody you're talking to, okay, let's just use the post office, and they're saying, "Oh yeah, I'm mailing this box to my granddaughter and da da da, and oh, my daughter lives here." People love to talk, y'all. I don't know if you've just stopped for a minute. People love to talk. And I've heard people on Mindset Monday and other places talk, oh, I just can't talk to people. People will talk to you. If you just make the lead, they're going to talk to you. Ba, 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 ba. So this lady's telling me about her baby and what she's doing. I said, you know what? We have these blanket, what are they called, y'all? Blanket buddies. And they are so cute. And I'll go in there and say, I bet you would love one of these. I mean, she's telling me about she's a grandma and she's got grandchild. So I'm going to tie in and say, I have something that you would love. And by the way, have you ever heard of Scentsy? This is what I do. People in direct selling, they buy from you because they trust you and they like you. They don't care Amazon, Walmart, anything. But in direct selling, they have to like you and they have to trust you. And there are choices for them. I mean, they can go on the website and order from whoever they want, but they have to trust you. I was just thinking about this evening with this lady in my neighborhood. I post in my neighborhood site a lot, and I do once a month. I do our market days at our neighborhood, so people know that I sell Scentsy. And I hadn't met this woman, but she's been messaging me, just asking questions, just do you have this in Cincy? Was this just asking questions? Now, I answered the questions, don't have a clue who this woman is, but I asked other information like, oh, how long you been living in the neighborhood? At just general questions about herself, answering about Cincy, but me redirecting towards because I was trying to gain her trust. I haven't seen her in person. She reached out to me through Messenger. I'm not friends with her on Facebook, none of that. And I'm like, I've got to gain this woman's trust. She's reached out to me 3 or 4 times. A couple times said she was going to come over and didn't. And so just earlier today, she messaged me and she says, I'm sorry to bother you, but I want to see what warmers you have on hand. Well, I knew at that point we were in. So I send her my pictures of what I have on hand and everything. And I tell you what, she bought 3 warmers and I gave her 3 bars of wax free to go with it because that's just what I choose to do to say thank you. Number one, she was overwhelmed and felt so awesome that I was giving her something free. She said, oh no, I didn't ask for anything free. I said, no, you didn't. I just want you to have this to go with the warmers. She trusted me. I had conversation with her. Y'all, talk about trust. She gave me her credit card. She typed out her credit card to me. Now, these days, that's trust because you can Venmo, Zelle, whatever you want to do. But she didn't have any of that and she wanted to send me her credit card. Okay, would you send a credit card to somebody you had never met and you were just talking to them? You weren't even sure where they lived? They live in the neighborhood, but come on. So I reflected on that and I thought, you know what? People, they just got to trust you. And if I was too pushy or if I was too aggressive with her, she probably would have called somebody else. You've got to be so committed to what you're doing. You've got to, when I love walking up, and I don't have kids' activities that I go to. The only activity that I go to is Pilates, and I go there every day. But so there's pretty much the same people there. But when there's new people, then I take the opportunity to get to know those new people. But I don't talk to the people I know every day about Scentsy. They'd throw me out of there. So, but I do spray room spray on me before I go in. So I'm always smelling good. So there's always some kind of comment about there's Denise, the smell good lady. That's cool. I want people to know me as that. I want people to know that's who I am and what I am. And I stand behind my product all the time. And but when there's new people, then I take the opportunity to try to get to know them. Compliment people. Start talking to people through a compliment. If you're struggling so hard to say, "Oh, I'm so scared to talk to somebody I don't know," compliment somebody and don't make it fake because God darn they know it when it's fake. You know, be authentic. That's what we're all about. But say something nice. Tell somebody you like their, don't say hairdo because, they may have had that hairdo forever, but you can say, hey, I love the colors in your blouse. I love those socks, whatever, but say something nice, but mean it. Okay. Mean it and engage in that conversation with them. And you may have common ground with them and you may not. Not everybody's gonna here I am, almost 70, and these Gen Zers, man, I got to learn how to connect with them. And it's not funny, it's true. I do, but I take that as a challenge for myself and saying, no, I'm not going to deal with these young Gen Zers because they just, no, I got to take that interest. And I talk to them. I say, hey, what do you feel about this? What do you feel? I have asked so many young people, what do you think of our new catalog? Just, I'm not asking you to buy anything. Now, let me tell you something. There's win-win. They love that I valued their opinion. And I do value their opinion because it's new. This is catering to them. I want to know what they say. So I was in a hair salon where I sell to one of the hair salon, and there was a couple young girls in there, and I said, "Hey," after I sold some things to her, I said, "Hey, would you all take a catalog, just look at it and send me a text and tell me what you think of it? I don't want you to buy anything. I'm not asking for that. I just would love to get your opinion. Pros and cons, what warmers you like. But better way to get it in people's hands. But it's also very sincere because I do want to know. I want to know what they like. I want to connect with them. There's 40 years difference in age, and I want to know because otherwise I'm out in the cold. And if you cut yourself off from people and you don't open up to new people, you're that's what it's all about. You're going to sink because you have to always have new customers. And your new customers also come from your or come help you recruit. So, when you're talking about recruiting and this challenge that we have, I've sat down and looked at it and it's like it has to be fast, but you also have to get people to trust you. You have to get them to know that you're sincere, that you're not going anywhere, that you believe in this. And one other big thing for me is I'm always telling people how I love my job. I mean, when I talk to those girls when I check out at Dollar Tree, how's your day going? I'm just like, oh, it's been so busy, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'm sorry. Have you had to work a long day today? I mean, I really get into the conversation with them, and y'all, they'll talk. Try it. Your cashiers will talk to you because nobody ever just cares about how are you feeling? Are you okay? You look tired. You look frustrated. Are you okay? I'm sorry you're having a bad day. And then I'll say, "Oh, I'm so thankful that I have a job that I can work as I want and I don't have to stand on my feet 10 hours a day." That's as easy as what I say. Well, really, what do you do? And then I say, I sell Scentsy. And here, have you ever heard of it? Here's a card. Here's a catalog. Give me a number. I'll follow up with you. And I get out of line because there's your audience right there. They're right there waiting on you. All you have to do is take advantage of the situation. We were out to dinner last night at our Mother's Day dinner. The waitress, was over the top. It was crazy, whatever. By the time we left, I left my business card, a sample. She was too busy to talk. You also have to know timing, when's a good time to talk to people and when's not, because you'll feel like you're getting blown off with people if they're too busy and they can't talk to you. So I really have to scout for all my new customers. I don't belong to club. Like I said, Pilates is all that I do. And so I have to take advantage of new people. Um, and let's see what else. Does anybody have any questions while I'm looking at this real quick? Wait staff, I talked to you about them, the cashiers, the post office, spraying myself. Of course, if you brand yourself, y'all, it's a piece of cake. Branding yourself, hands down, 100% the easiest way. Brand yourself. Have Scentsy on, have purple on. Do I say to have it on every day? Yes, because it's the easiest way to people to bring attention. I have a purple hat like this, and when I wear the purple one, people always are, oh, I love that purple hat. Is purple your favorite color? No, not really. It's my company color. That's why I wear it. Well, it is my favorite color, but why is it? Because it represents Scentsy. So, you know, um, branding is just a piece of cake. So if you're not branding yourself, you have nothing to engage with. That's a point for you to engage with other people. So, and I feel sorry for people that are that nervous, but you've got to, okay, it can't be here's my everyday life And then over here is Scentsy. And I got to think about bringing Scentsy in over here. No, Scentsy has to be part of this world, whether you're doing it full time, part time, whether you're doing it, your mind, like when you're talking to someone, Scentsy should just be oozing out of your mouth. That's just how natural it should be. That, yeah, you're a mother first and a wife and you have kids, but Scentsy is right there. You know, it's just right there. It's just, it shouldn't be that difficult because that's all you think and do is Scentsy. And, doctor's offices. Oh my Lord, I could get on that forever. I've spent a lot of times in hospital and doctor's appointments the last 9 months. And for some of you that are sick, in a doctor's office, everybody wants to talk because why? They're stressed. They're all stressed and they want somebody nice that they can talk to. They don't want to talk to you about Scentsy. No, of course not. They want to just talk to you. Their husband's in there, like my husband's in there. And what are you talking about? And by the time you're into 5 minutes or 10 minutes into it, you're talking about where do you work? Well, where do you work? What do you do? It's just natural conversation. It's just you got to start up the conversation at some point. I've said something to people when I've been in and they're on walkers or having trouble getting into the bathroom. Can I help you? Do you need help? Do you need me to hold the door open? I'll help them. They'll come back. You engage in a conversation with them. Do a nice gesture for somebody. You know, that's how people will remember you. They will trust you, and you've got to have people who like you because they can buy something else. They don't have to buy it through you. And then don't forget this, everybody that you're selling to that might be a new person, they're telling somebody else about you. So you always got to remember that. And even if somebody may not give you $100 order, their word of mouth is telling somebody else. When I get PWS orders and I reach out to those people, and once again, I may not be talking to them, but I got to display trust and honesty and friendliness through a text. And I'm telling them thank you, et cetera, et cetera. I send them something. Say, how did you get my name? I want to know. I mean, like, did you just randomly hit in Kyle, Texas, or how? No, well, Jeannie, who bought from you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, y'all, that's the biggest compliment you can give me because somebody trusted me enough. And don't y'all want your business built up that way that when somebody thinks of Scentsy, what do they think of? You for your area, whatever. And you want to be able to talk and be honest and friendly and trustworthy and have Scentsy oozing out of you so that that's who they think of. I mean, you're the Scentsy gal, you're the Scentsy guy, whichever. That is what you're striving for. And if you stay huddled up and you put your little blinders on and you have your walls, and I know what's that like because I've been there, you're not going to get yourself out there. You're not going to let people know who you are. And more than anything, learn who they are. It's not bleh, vomiting all over them. And I used to do a lot of that when I first started. I was like, oh, Scentsy, blah, blah, blah. I didn't even know what I was selling. I didn't know what I was selling, how I was selling. This true story, when I signed up in August and the first trip, how would that have worked in the dates? I earned the first trip, but I don't know how that would have been. Oh, okay, it was the following one. Okay, it wasn't August because it would have been over in no, how would that have worked? I joined in August, so it must have been the next
I
year
said, if
that I
you earned in
earned.
August, if you start in August, you could have earned that first trip because that's when the incentive starts.
The is August. Okay, I'm right. Okay, so it was. I didn't know what I was doing. Blah blah. Didn't even know. I'd send for hours and cry out the workstation because I couldn't figure out the workstation. And finally figured it all out. And then I get my email that says that I earned a trip to Punta Cana. And I was like, is this spam? I deleted it. And I was like, "Ugh, this can't be right." And so I just kept selling, doing what I got the second email. You need to pick this or that or the other because you earned this trip. So I called Sensei. Is this a scam? What is this? I was so thrilled. I couldn't even believe. And I said, well, if I can do that, and I haven't even tried, all I've done is talk to people and tell them about Scentsy and truly talk to people. And even if it's so difficult for you, ask them a question. I mean, just ask a question. And you know what? Who cares if they judge you? And I've heard people say that, oh, I'm scared somebody's going to judge me. Who cares? I've been judged so much in my life. Judged, talked about, misunderstood, all those things. Well, I'm still standing and I'm still selling Scentsy and I'm happy and my house smells amazing and I smell amazing and I have wonderful friends because of Scentsy that I will be forever grateful for. And there are times in my life that if I didn't have Scentsy, I probably wouldn't have made it. And I tell people that, y'all, and that creating that relationship and understanding, and believe me, people want what you have.
Mhm.
You know, no, nobody wants to be a mother that lost their child at 21 years old. Nobody wants that. But they do want what I have now, which is joy and happiness, and that I can work and be so happy in what I'm doing and have a job. You know, my husband's been sick for a while. Like I said, you know, nobody's calling me. Jack's calling me, Amy's calling me, checking on my husband, checking on me. Nobody called me to ask me why my numbers weren't there, and my numbers haven't been there. You know, what a wonderful job that is. Y'all, I share that with people. People who know me, who know who I am, I tell them that. You know, well, what does your job do, Denise, when you're not working and producing numbers? They call and check on me, see how I'm doing. And they're like, wow, what a place to work. Yeah, it is. So that sincere and honesty that I give to people that I know really well, then, you know, they respect. And I've had friends that I've known for a long time that didn't buy Scentsy from me for a long time. And I really believe now that I've stayed with it so long and they've seen so much of what Scentsy's done for me as a family, they're like, okay, this is a good thing. Let's get some Scentsy from Denise. You know, like they took them forever to decide they wanted Scentsy and now they're hooked. But anyway, kind of varied off the point there. Smile. I'm gonna tell you this. Smile, even at your baddest day, y'all. Ask, listen, and engage. Okay? Smile. Okay? Ask, listen, and engage. That's your four key words for communication. And of course, that's from Chat GPT because I'm learning. Because if I don't, I'm going to be left out in the woods. Does anybody have any questions? I'm sorry, I probably talked too long. Anybody have any
I know,
questions?
but I do want to bring up something to Linda posted because I remember you sharing this. Um,
Okay.
she put, I remember the story of when you first started, you made yourself get up and go out. You had to hand out 5 samples before you went home, and you ran into a grumpy old man and you gave him one just so you could go home, and then his wife ordered. And that's just a true testament to like,
That's true.
first off, to be successful, you have to do those things consistently. If not, it'll show, right? And
Yep.
even on your worst day, sometimes you may not want to exude Scentsy or hand out Scentsy, but you just never know what blessings you can be in someone else's life by continuing to be consistent. And even though I know there were days where, and I know you did that because it gave you a purpose every day, but I know there were days you didn't feel like it at all, but you still made yourself do that. And I think that as a whole, if we want to be successful, it's making ourselves a little bit uncomfortable, but making ourselves do those things consistently if we want to have success. And I think that's where a lot of us are missing the boat. We're doing them when it's convenient, but we're not
Yep.
doing them consistently. We're doing it when it's easy, but we're not doing it when we're unsure of the answer. And so I think if we can get back to being consistent with asking and engaging, and like you're saying, for all the introverts out there, I've sprayed cash, spray catalogs, spray tissue paper at birthday parties before you go. Spray everything you can because that is naturally going to bring up
Hmm.
conversations. If you're going to go meet someone at Starbucks, spray your notebook before you go in. Walk
Hmm.
in, and that's kind of an open invite for the barista to say, "Wow, it smells so good," or "Oh my gosh, your money smells good." "Oh, my samples must have leaked on the money in my purse. Would you like a sample of this scent? Do you like the scent?"
There you
So it's
go.
it's all about just like you're saying, like back to the basics. And if we're even if you're introverted, if you're doing those little small things, it's gonna bring conversation, right?
And that's what I was trying. You said it better than I did, Jack, but I was trying to say it can't be a chore. You can't be always, this can't be a chore to talk to people about Cincy.
Mhm.
You have to feel it and live it, and it just be the first thing on your mind, or to engage with someone to learn about them. It can't be, oh, I got to talk to somebody today and I don't feel like it. No, you can't. It doesn't work that way, y'all. I promise you it doesn't. And on your hardest days, and Dylan, that's funny because I do like talking to men in the grocery store when they're behind me. I don't do self-checkout, by the way, y'all. I never do self-checkout because you can't engage with anybody. You're isolating yourself. So I always go to the line, even if I only have four, five things. So then I can talk to the person behind me and in front of me because the line's always long. So I force myself to do that. Do I feel like it? No. What is my life? What do? I sell Scentsy. I got to meet people. I mean, so it's so ingrained in me, like I don't think about it. That's just what life is, for me. And I'm happy and I love it. And then that's why I survive every day.
Well, we love
So,
you, and everyone in the comments loves you. And I love that you pointed out too that, like, to me and Amy and all of us and all your friends, like, you're not a number. You're not what your TWV is. You're not who your PRV is. Like, we are a family and a community. And if we were judged or only a part of each other's lives based on sales and numbers and all that, that's just not Cincy. And so that's also such a good recruiting tool because we are truly a community. And you guys will find, as we talked about this at Summit, as AI becomes bigger, as people become more, I mean, if you think about it in the future, or we'll talk about this, which I thought was very intriguing. In the future, you won't necessarily have DoorDash drivers, Instacart drivers. It's going to be robots. It's going to be drones that deliver. There's already campuses that they deliver drones, like food by drones. There's already people-less Uber cars that come and pick people up and drop them off. Some people feel it's safer because you don't have to deal with a stranger at midnight. I don't know, but the future is AI is going to be a big part of lives. AI will cause people to lose jobs, unfortunately. AIs will cause people to seek community, just like during COVID when Cincy exploded. And I loved hearing how Orville explained this. I'm probably not doing as good of a job as he did, but he said in the future, Cincy will explode because it's something that is a community that people are going to lose their jobs and they're going to seek community just like they did during COVID when people lost their jobs or they couldn't go to work because they couldn't be in person or because of COVID. Businesses went remote. And because of that, people lost their jobs. And so he said the future of AI in the Cincy world, Cincy could explode like it did during COVID because people are going to want that community. And Cincy is a place that AI can't replace Cincy. It can replace potentially financial advisors, CPAs. I don't know. I hope that's not your job. I'm not trying to scare you, but analysts and data, researchers and things like that it potentially could replace, and it could be 50 years from now, guys, it might not even affect you, but the future is heading that way. And since we have to keep our community strong because that is our strength. And we showed that during COVID. Everyone wanted Cincy, everyone to be a part of the community. They didn't have a job. They wanted to feel loved, needed, wanted, heard, and they wanted to buy our product. And so I'm glad that you brought that up, Denise, because we are so much more than any number that's on any workstation. And I hope that you feel that, especially now, and we're in these growing pains, because each one of you are so much more than any numbers that you produce for me or your upline, or if you're not even in my group, they're your upline. So, yes, Cindy said people need connection. Oh, someone else, but my brother took a driverless car in LA. Yeah, it's Laura, it's the thing. Like at Summit, there are people who said that their daughter's at a college where, like robots are delivering food or they have drones delivering food. And so think about all those jobs that in the future won't be there anymore. It's going to be a lot.
I just posted today on my personal page um, because Amy does like a motivational Monday message out. And after I got it today, I was just like, that means so much to me. Like every Monday, I know I'm gonna get an automated message from her. And I just posted on my Facebook page that, yes, everybody might see it that, I'm a Scentsy consultant and everything, but it's more than, just selling the Scentsy product, that it's my community, it's my sisterhood, it's a family, and I'm so thankful that 4 years ago, not knowing anybody, just kind of seeing a few people on Zoom, I got on that plane and I went to North Carolina and met Amy for the first time, and you, Jack. And I was like, okay, I know nobody, but I'm going to make this leap of faith and do this. And since then, since he's been my life, I have purple hair now for the last 2.5 years. And, I don't, I have one person underneath me that really doesn't do anything, but, I'm trying and I'm working my business the best that I can, and, like we talked about the last time, I've got my list. I'm sending messages out. I'm like, okay, give me a task and I'm going to work my tush off to try to reach it and everything. But it was just like, how can I explain this sisterhood and this friendship? Because, you know, we're a totally different community than any other group because we support each other. We're there, we're rooting for each other. And we're like, okay, what do you need? How can we figure this out? And we're trying to break it down. Whereas other groups, it's dog eat dog world, but we're more family and we're here to support each other, and I love it because I do so many vendor events and I have new Scentsy consultants come in and they're like, oh, you can do that? Oh, how can I do that? And I love spending time with them and like breaking things down and helping them out. And they're like, can I be your Facebook friend and ask you questions? Yes, here's all my contact info. Ask me anything. I love that. I love helping people. And I mean, my boyfriend, he talks to me and he's like, you have a heart of gold. Like, you know, that's just you. And
And
I
that's
just love
and that's Cincy, and that's why you are
it.
so
Mhm.
good at it because that's truly the goal of Orville and Heidi is they want to have a company that is we help others, right? We're there for each other. I saw James put in the comments about, his job could be on the line because of AR and his company's trying to help him find, something different. And that's what all your Cincy community wants for you too, James. Like we are all a brother sisterhood. Like and that's how it should be. And so um I know that I don't know. I know that I look for I say this all the time, but and it's cheesy, but like I know I tell my husband, I mean, you've seen me like mindset Monday from baseball games and on the way from practice, and I could have every excuse like this is insane to do every week because our schedule is nuts. But I don't know what I would do without Mindset Monday and without seeing you, James, and Jennifer and Cindy on every week, and to Linda and Michelle and Amy and just all you guys on each week. Like it truly, like I feel like you guys are family. And I know some of you don't ever unmute, but just seeing your face or seeing your name on I don't know. You guys are my people. And so I hope you guys feel that same way. And I hope on your worst day, you think of that and you don't ever want to leave us. I truly, truly would feel that. So Sylvia and Laura, all these awesome rock stars on. Like I truly feel like again, your worst day, your worst month with Cincy, your worst year with Cincy, you're like, no, I've got to stay with Cincy. This is my people. I may not be having the PRV or sales I want this month or last month, but I'm not going anywhere. So I'm a lifer. We are family. I love it. I love you guys. Denise, I know we went a little over tonight, but Denise, you are so incredible. And I know that you've made my life better because you're in it. And so we need to hear from you more, Denise. We need to hear
Okay.
because you just brighten our spirit. So, we're going to start getting you on more because you truly, like, I'm sure you can see from the comments too, like everyone just loves you and loves to hear you speak. So,
Thanks. Thanks.
yeah.
I love y'all.
We love you. James said, my husband actually just said, of all the MLMs we've been involved with, since he is the only one that actually is family. It's no longer a side hustle. It's our community. I love that, James.
Mm.
Love it. Love it. All right. Denise, any last words?
No, hopefully to see y'all at SFR.
Yay. All right. I'm going to upload this and get it added to our Mindset Monday so you guys can share with downline, share in your team pages. But thank you, everyone. Michelle said, thanks so much, Denise. Uh,
Thank y'all.
Love hearing you speak. Very motivated. All right. Well, let us know if you guys have any fun stories this week before we get to next week mindset about spraying your mail or your cash or anything like that. Share with us next Monday. But we love you guys. We hope you have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next Monday.
Bye,
Bye.
Denise. Love you and Thomas.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye, Denise.